First, let me join in welcoming you all to the 10th annual EWG Earth Dinner in San Francisco. We are honored to stand on the shoulders of the pioneering women here tonight, and many more like them. Lucky for us, we had EWG in our corner. We couldn't ask for a more fearless, talented, or dedicated ally in our shared passion to empower people to live healthier lives in a healthier environment. If living that way is your passion, EWG is in your corner too. I could hardly be newer to the personal care industry, and tonight I am joined on stage by two of its legendary leaders, Karen Behnke of Juice Beauty and Debbie Perlman of Revlon, and I'm so honored.
EWG is now sitting at the table with brands large, small, and in between, and helping to create products that you can trust. And one of the brands that we have long admired is Juice Beauty. For almost 15 years, Juice Beauty has been at the forefront of the clean beauty movement. But that's no surprise with someone like Karen Behnke at the helm. When Karen was pregnant with her first child, she began taking a closer look at the products she was using each day. And she was astonished to learn that there were very few clean options that actually worked well. So she set out to develop something safe, effective, and lovely to use. And with that, Juice Beauty was born. Karen launched Juice Beauty in 2005 with the goal of creating organic and natural formulations that never compromised on the luxurious experience. For 5 years, Karen and her team worked with scientists to perfect the formulations worthy of her vision and the brand's name. And she was most recently honored by Goldman Sachs as one of the 100 most intriguing entrepreneurs of 2018. And we're very lucky to have Karen with us here tonight. So please join me in welcoming Karen Behnke to the stage.
Okay. Well, when Ken asked me to tell you a bit about my commitment to socially conscious entrepreneuring, he did not tell me I was going to follow MIchelle Pfeiffer. But I also want to tell you about my commitment to EWG. You know, growing up in a small town in Michigan with beautiful lakes and forests, my passion for the environment and wellness was born. And overcoming so many health obstacles and learning to live a healthy lifestyle gave me strength and motivated me to combine my personal wellness passion with a mission-driven career. My environmentalism was born during high school and college in the mid to late 70s, when all over Michigan I watched cattle drop dead and chickens become paralyzed with nonstop tremors. Well documented in the book, The Poisoning of Michigan, in the 1970s, a chemical plant in my tiny hometown mistakenly added PBB to dairy cattle feed and distributed it to farms throughout the state. PBB is polybrominated biphenyl. It's a toxic fire retardant and is closely related to PCB. Scientists estimated that at the time, everybody in the state had consumed contaminated milk and meat. Emory University is still tracking this disaster and has found that the majority of Michiganders, as we call ourselves, tested still have PBB in their blood 3 generations later. This was the largest toxic chemical spill in the US ever. Emory University did confirm serious human health issues, but given that large cattle were dropping dead everywhere, I think we can kind of figure out this was not a great chemical to consume. PBB was banned because of this disaster 33 years later, and your reaction might be, thank God, but equally toxic substitutes are still commonly used, and that's why we need EWG. in college, this both depressed and inspired me, and I became a committed pescatarian, which was not a popular decision to get dates, nor was it popular with my cattle farmer uncles. So pregnancy, this is in the 70s, remember? Pregnancy spurs a lot of ideas and action in women, and as Nika mentioned, so despite having started one of the first ever wellness companies in the early 80s, focused on fitness and organic nutrition, it wasn't until years later when I started having my babies in my 40s that I finally read a beauty products label and was really horrified at the toxic ingredients that I had been slathering all over my face and body. And I was worried about what might reach my babies. So I eventually bought the name Juice Beauty and started the company from scratch and decided to take the hard route of making our products comply with the National Organic Program regulation of greater than 70% organic ingredient content. And there's a reason why there aren't a lot of products out there like this, because going organic is hard, but worth it. I decided to go beyond to authentically organic and never use any ingredient that could possibly be harmful to people, animals, or the planet. And I knew that supporting organic farming was the right thing to do, so I could do my part to eliminate pesticide use in hopes that our earth and all of us would stop getting contaminated and getting contaminated. And of course, the beauty vein part of it is organically farmed ingredients have about a 30% higher antioxidant level than conventionally farmed ingredients. That means good for your skincare and makeup. So, at Juice Beauty, we want to drive change, authenticity, and transparency in the industry alongside EWG. We just bought a Juice Beauty farm in Healdsburg, and we're in the process of converting it to organic to eventually source ingredients from our farm. And consumers, when you talked about the power of consumers, consumer interest has steadily increased in this area. It's exciting for us to make it to one of the top brands nationwide at the largest beauty retailer, Ulta Beauty, and that they would be supportive of our organic wellness mission starting 9 years ago. And speaking of consumers, our retailers, Neiman Marcus and Bloomingdale's, have told us that they are now seeing generational beauty advice flip-flop. So instead of advice being passed down the generations from grandmother to mom to daughter, the Gen Z and millennials are bringing their moms into the department stores to introduce them to cleaner and organic brands, which is great. At this point, I think it's apparent why we support Ken, his team, and EWG from our hearts, our souls, and our pocketbooks. Ken and I met 12-some years ago when Juice Beauty and Skin Deep were only both about a year old. And although I was and remain in huge admiration of EWG and Ken's work, we did get in a few fights early on. Years ago, organic olive oil was rated poorly in your skincare database because it wasn't widely used in skincare and it had never been studied. And so it was rated in that dreaded Skin Deep red zone. And as we were using organic olive oil and organic olive squalene early on, you can imagine our conversations. Of course, these types of ingredients are now rated green on EWG Skin Deep. So thank you, Nika. Thank you, Ken. Ken, the entire Juice Beauty team, where are you over there? The entire Juice Beauty team, stand up. And stand up, you guys. Come on, stand up, thank you. The entire Juice Beauty team, and I want to thank you and all of EWG. We use your science, your database, your studies, your lobbying, and your power every day in our company. And we support and share your values from the bottom of our hearts, and we will, every day, in our socially conscious, organic wellness way, help you fight your fight. You are changing the world for the better, and thank you for all you do for the planet and for the world. Thank you so much.
Now, We borrowed, I say loosely, really stole tonight's theme, Revenge of the Chemistry Nerds, from the headline of a story in Bloomberg News in January, which was about Procter & Gamble's relaunch of a legendary shampoo brand, Herbal Essences. Now, several versions of this shampoo, sold in every major retail store in the country now, bear the certification of EWG Verified, our third-party seal for your health that you'll be hearing a lot more about tonight. It's sort of the under-theme of the whole evening. The article stated that EWG's research and consumer impact, our skin deep database of cosmetic products and ingredients, have made us the de facto regulator of the personal care industry. The de facto now, as many of you know, America's cosmetics industry operates under a federal law that was passed in 1938 and has gone without a makeover in the 80 years since. We continue to press Congress to pass the bipartisan Personal Care Product Safety Act, introduced by our own Senator Dianne Feinstein in California and Susan Collins, Republican of Maine. It's bipartisan on the Senate side. It will be on the House side as well. In the meantime, the Bloomberg description, a small nonprofit as the industry's de facto regulator, thrilled us. It brought to mind an observation a cosmetics industry executive shared with me many years before. We were having our first frenemy coffee, as one does in Washington. We were discussing EWG's online ratings of thousands of personal care products and ingredients, the website known as Skin Deep, which was already the bane of many cosmetics companies. Before EWG and Skin Deep came along, women thought they were putting on makeup, the executive confided. Now, they think they're putting on chemicals. Quite so. And in that instant, when women are thinking of chemicals, we fervently hope they are thinking not about their appearance primarily or perhaps at all. They are thinking, we hope, about their health. Literally every year, we hear overwhelmingly from the women who constitute 85% of our very loyal audience that EWG's research and advice has awakened and empowered, if you will, a fundamentally fresh perspective on their life. And indeed, many of you here tonight have said as much to me. And you've passed along that sentiment to family and friends, haven't you? That's the real power of EWG, that network that formed around our research and our advocacy and the passion we share with you. Given the primacy of women in the rise of environmentalism, it is only fitting that in EWG's pursuit of beauty, the physical and emotional health and well-being of women is paramount. And that, my friends, is the clean beauty movement you are here to explore and celebrate with EWG and our friends tonight. So with that, bon appetit. We'll be back.